Alright, today we're having a look at SlidEout 3019 by Golfreman. Alright, so here we are in SlidEout 3019 by Golfreman, and just took a look. Oh, God, this just looks so nice already. Like, this just looks slick as. Okay, I mean, I said it looked slick as before, but it actually looks more slick as than slick as. Take a quick look at the controls. Accelerate, turn, arrow brake. Oh gosh, I'm terrible with the arrow brake, but that's okay. X and the trigger buttons are the important ones. Let's do this. This is... Wow. What can I say besides... Oopsie. This is exactly like when I played WipEout 3 on stream. So this is it was cool. There's a lot of verisimilitude here. We should remember that we do have those auto brakes, or arrow brakes as they're called. I got turned around. I got killed and turned around. I kind of wish, and I don't remember if this is something that's in actual WipEout or not. Oh, crumbs. Yeah! But I kind of wish there was a track map in one of the lower corners, because did we just go in a circle? Like, did we? Oh, we went backwards. Oh, crumbs. That's not, we're not supposed to do that. I'm bad at this, but that's okay. Okay, we're just gonna slow down a little bit. Because I remember that WipEout is also very twitchy like this, and it's very easy to get turned around. So I don't want to say that this is a problem on the part of the level, so much as maybe a problem on the part of this type of game if you're not good at this type of game. Which, I mean, we could say I'm not. And anybody who tuned into those streams would know that I'm bad. Karting is where it's at for me. As far as racing games, I can handle karting pretty well. The actual high speed of games like WipEout, or what we're seeing here with SlidEout, so it's a bit more than I can handle. I should re-download WipEout. I had to erase it because I couldn't fit something else in. We got turned around again. Is there a brake? Yeah, okay, so the square button is a brake. I should probably use that. This moves so well, and nothing really like a Dreams level that I've played so far. The ability of this and of Golfreman to replicate that kind of feeling of speed and tightness and getting bounced around when you race badly is just nuts. Now I did read Golfrey had a little bit in a notes file that this is not where they want the level to be ultimately. That it's an early build. There's only the one track available, there's only the one card available, that should be looking forward to more in the future, just that they have not... Oh right, we do need to care about damage, because if we take too much damage, we die. That's a problem. There will be more in the future, but to not expect it super soon, because Golfrey works on other things at the same time, and it's not always able to focus on just one thing at once, which is, like, absolutely fine. Creation time is variable between creators. Something that I remember from LVP, and that's something I'm sure is going to be even more so here. Folks have got lives to deal with. They don't always have time to be in create mode, and I can say that personally myself. I really love, we talked about last week about kitting up some new hubs in an avatar, and I just don't got that time right now. So by all means, Golfreman, take as much time as you need getting the level to where you need it to be, and getting the creation to where you need it to be, because yeah, it seems, I can imagine that already a lot of time has gone into just this. I am so bad. I'm sorry, Golfreman. I wish I were a better racer, that I could show this off a little bit better, but I'm not. One interesting thing here, but we probably don't have enough time to talk about it, that the slightly blurry look of the materials, the textures, and I know it's something that people have complained about in Dream streams before, but I think it works here because, you know, if you're moving really quickly, all that blur tends to feed into itself, tends to fade into itself, and is not quite so noticeable, but gives more of a feeling of momentum and speed that, you know, you're moving so fast the environment is blurring. So that's kind of cool. Using a a conceivable limitation of the texture set or palette set to get an effect that works for your creation. Oh, crumbs, that's our time. So we're going to have to talk about this back at the hub, but we will see you there. See yas! And we're back. And SlidEout 3019. It should probably come as no surprise that I'm giving it a green circle. Has the green circle gotten bigger recently? I mean, honest to God, it just seems kind of giant recently. No, it shouldn't be surprising given my reaction in the video that I felt this is definitely a green circle creation. It's a top-notch creation, and a very surprising one for, to me, a number of reasons. Although I do have some issues with it, but they're more issues of a type than issues with the creation itself. It's a little bit difficult to do pips for something like this because it's very much WYSIWYG. It's very much what you see is what you get. Also, because things are moving so quickly that sometimes it's hard to isolate things. So I might just do like a minute worth of pips while I nanner on about the level. What really, to me, what really sells the level is the verisimilitude with WipEout, which I'd actually played relatively recently, and this inspired me to re-download. I had to erase it because I had too much stuff on my PS4, and I'm a terrible at WipEout, but I had such a good time playing it in stream. I think it was like a month and a half back. Whipping around at high speeds, you got this futuristic environment all around you, the different racers that are up against you, and the design of the cars, and everything as an experiential thing clicks for me. I like experiencing that. I like watching that perhaps more than I actually like playing it. But as we mentioned in the video, I am personally terrible at that type of game, and it carries over to SlidEout 3019. Unfortunately, I feel kind of bad that maybe I was not able to showcase this creation as well as FeverdreamS deserves to have their creation showcased, because it's really, really good the way they just nail the feeling of that. One of the things that we've mentioned in previous episodes of FeverdreamS, most often talking about platforming levels, is like how light and how zippy the characters can feel, and how sometimes that makes platforming fairly difficult. But here, taking that kind of that limitation and applying it in a way that becomes a strength, because that's really how the WipEout series feels. Everything is quick, everything is tight, everything is very, very responsive, and you know, if you play badly, it's really easy to throw yourself into walls and get yourself spun around and bounced off the track because your racer is so very light. And that's kind of one of those points where it's a bit negative for me on a player side, because I personally have difficulty controlling that type of avatar, that type of creature creation or cart in this sense. But for someone who is a fan and is even moderately, I think, skilled at this type of racer, it's gonna click with them immediately, because it's something that they will be used to. And the fact that FeverdreamS was able to bring that into Dreams, I found to be very, very impressive. It's very, very cool that this was done. One thing that kind of go back to Little Big Planet, we haven't started talking about it yet, but you know, I do a lot of Little Big Planet stuff, and going back to the commercials and the trailers for LBP2, and how LBP2 was sold not as a level creator, not as a platformer or platform creator, you know, level editor, but as a games maker. And we may have mentioned this in FeverdreamS as well, but that's a promise that I felt the game was never able to really live up to. As much as I absolutely adore Little Big Planet as a series, and I think that Little Big Planet 2 is a high point, I think that a lot of times the further away you drifted from the puzzle platform style, the more awkward levels became. I had to play a couple like shooter levels that worked out really well. Madness is an Option 1 and 2 stand out as particularly strong examples, but like racing levels, I never found to work particularly well with LBP. 3D levels I never found to work particularly well with LBP, and RPG style levels were always very hit and missy for me. One thing that I'm really loving about Dreams, and something that I love about creations like this one, is that they do really showcase how broad the creation tools can be in Dreams, and how broad the type of creations that people may end up making in this engine, really, not even just this game, but in this engine, how broad that could be if Dreams does manage to click with the community, and I certainly hope it does, because when I play levels that are kind of non-standard or out of format, I still feel like they're really well done, they're really solidly done, and even when they're not great necessarily, that these can be early examples of just what can be done with Dreams, and SlidEout is all over that. It is really great. I love the environment here. It's a little bit darker, it's a little bit dimmer than things that we might find in WipEout, but I think that it's kind of parsable as you're in the kind of low rent section of town that this race is being held in. It's not in the glitzy glamorous area, but there's some places where you're going down almost not exactly like a sewer, but the streets are dirty, and there's garbage on the streets, and things, you know, lights are out and whatnot. So I think that it works with the level. I don't know if making it that dark was a way for FeverdreamS to deal with thermo, to not have too many lighted bits on the screen at one time, not to have too many decorative elements on screen at any one time. It may have been their way around that, or originally from the start they may have wanted to make it like this. There are certainly decorations, there's you know, signage in the level, and I think that the signage for the most part, although it is a bit scanty, does work particularly well. The only issue that I kind of had with the level, and I don't know how easy it would be to implement something like this, so I'm not saying it must be done, but I found because I was getting myself spun around so often, sometimes it could be a little bit difficult for me to tell if I was heading in the right direction when I came out of the spin. To either have a map in the corner, or to have some kind of indicator on the screen when you're going the wrong way, like we used to see in Mario Kart, like the old Mario Kart on Super Nintendo, where Lakitu would come down and actually have a sign that, you know, had the U-turn symbol on it to let you know that you were going the wrong way. That might be a little bit helpful, but if you're a semi-skilled player, that may not be anything that even comes up for you. Last point I wanted to mention, and it's something that I'm gonna have to try to fix in my hub so that I can showcase when this comes up, because it does come up fairly frequently. The music here is excellent. It is really good. It complements the race environment very well. I felt propelled forward by the momentum of the music just as much as the momentum of the action. Music, I do think music can be integral to setting momentum and setting pacing on levels, and it's certainly used to good effect here. I just look forward to seeing more from FeverdreamS. Although we mentioned in the video that they'd mentioned that it might be slow before we see another update, but I'd really love to see where they take this series, if a series it does become. FeverdreamS, you did an excellent job. Thank you so very much for putting the time and effort into this level, and we do hope that we see more from you. But I think that pretty much does it for us here this go about at FeverdreamS. So, from me, Risco, here in Osaka, to all of you out there wherever you may happen to be, thank you, arigato, sayonara, see you, and ciao.